Hello and welcome to the FOMO Creator Show. I am your host, Making Sang, first name Making. Now, FOMO means the fear of missing out, and in business, it's a good thing. So, if you want to know how to sell out your event, your conference, your business, your book, your product, your service, your non-profit, your charity. You want to raise more funds for your fundraiser. You have come to the right place. Now, today we are going to be talking about the incredible organization, which is the Comms Creatives Academy. And we've got a comment here already. We've got the fabulous Tim with us saying hello. Lovely to see you here, Tim. Now, the Comms Creatives Academy, who are they? Who are they indeed? Let's talk a little bit about them, shall we? Now, they deliver an incredible set of social media courses, part of their Comms Creators Academy. And as part of their membership, you get lots of advice on various aspects of social media, paid advertising, organic advertising, and also FOMO. That's where I come in. So they bring in resident experts to talk about their field of expertise. And this week, I've been delivering a training course on how to create FOMO for events. Now, Helen Reynolds is the founder of Comms Creatives. And as you know, on the FOMO Creator Show, I always like to talk about people that I know, people who are my friends, people that I've known and admired. And we're going to talk a little bit about who is Helen Reynolds. Who is she indeed? How did we meet? Oh, and we've got the fabulous Helen with us. Hi, Helen. This is a bit better, me talking about you. It's a good job I'm not slagging you off. I'm only kidding. She says hello and thanks so much for showing us around the academy. Oh, you are very welcome. I absolutely love what you do, Helen, and so that's why I wanted to tell the world about what it is you do. But as I say, whenever I talk about people that I know, I always like to let people know how I met them, just so it gives sort of a bit of an authenticity into the people that I talk about. And Helen is going, nothing to worry about, Ellen. Everything that I mentioned is going to be all good stuff. And my fabulous brother is here as well. Hi, Mark. It's good to see you. Good to see everybody. Now, how did I meet the fabulous Helen? Well, I trawled through Twitter a little bit, actually. And on the top left-hand corner, I don't know if you can see there, I was tweeting. I went to a conference that Helen was speaking at, and she came out with some incredible golden nuggets. So at the time, she was talking about branding, and so I tweeted. And so, as a speaker, I piqued her interest. She saw my tweet. She was conversing with me, and as luck would have it, in the evening, there was a few of us hanging out together, and Helen and Kenda McDonald, who was just about to launch her incredible book, Hack Your Buyer Brain. Myself and Kenda's partner as well, I think he's called Mark or Matthew, Perimenopausal Brain. I've got a button for that somewhere. Where is it? There we go. Let me press this button. It's too long to say perimenopause, so we recorded a button that says menopausal brain instead. So the four of us got together to celebrate Kenda's incredible book, Hack the Buyer Brain, and the bartender actually created a cocktail in her honor. So Helen, myself, Kenda, and her partner, the four of us were just celebrating the launch of a book after Helen had been speaking. It was a wonderful, wonderful evening. Now, Helen and I have been doing some stuff ever since with each other. And she wonderfully said, absolutely love your work. Fab to work with you as a resident expert and pal. Or you are so welcome. And, and I love your support and friendship and guidance as well, Helen. You are just wonderful. And we have worked with each other a few times since. So I I actually recommended her to be a speaker for an online conference that we did together. So that's in the top right hand corner there. There's three lovely ladies. They're talking about branding your position. Branding in a virtual community, and she did a fabulous talk about that. And then Hel got me back into her academy the first time around, and we talked about FOMO, and that's all on YouTube. So if you go to bit.ly / Comms Creatives FOMO, capital C, capital FOMO, you'll be able to capture that interview, and it's a great one as well. So Tim says, Tim Lewis says, my LinkedIn is formatted so the comments are squashed up, so might be less communicative as than usual. Oh, that's a little bit strange. The last week or so, LinkedIn has been doing some really strange things. So there must be some new updates that are coming up there, Tim. But we'll see some of your comments nevertheless. So that's how the fabulous Helen and I met. And of course, as I mentioned, we are this week. I delivered some training for her Comms Creatives Academy. And normally through the FOMO Creator Show, we go through the ABCs of FOMO. Now, for those of you who haven't seen this show before, hello and welcome. And this is how I showcase my authentic authority. I deliver training programs about FOMO. And so this week for the Comms Creators Academy, I created a course called How to Create FOMO to Sell at Events, asterisk, and for selling products, services, and fundraising for charities and raising awareness for nonprofits too. Have you ever wanted to do that little asterisk disclaimer at the end of an ad in a really quick and speedy up voice? Just me then, just me. I'm just laughing at my own joke there. But this is what we talked about earlier this week. You know, although you have a business, it doesn't matter if it's a product, a business, a product or a service-based business, whether you have a book launch, whether you are raising money for charity or you are a non-profit, you can create an event out of anything. And if you create an event out of anything, it means that you can create FOMO, create that fear of missing out, that buzz, that excitement. And so that's what we talked about. Now, obviously, I'm not going to give you the full lowdown of the training course that we did earlier this week because I want to give you FOMO, right? But I'll give you just a little bit of a teaser on what we discussed, things that are already out in public anyway. And so my talk that I did with Comms Creatives was a combination of two talks that I'd delivered before, plus lots of customized stuff for her community as well. So the first talk I actually delivered as a closing keynote in Dublin last year. And so there were 5 steps to generating FOMO: build community, building relationships, showcasing your authority, putting your testimonials and reviews out there. That's N for notoriety, and D for direct communication. And I showcased the example of how, unfortunately, my Instagram and Facebook account got hacked last year. Tim will remember that. I was very upset, and he did his best, and a few of my other friends did their best to try and get some connections in Facebook to see if I could have my account restored. And unfortunately, it didn't happen, so I had to start again from scratch. And in starting from scratch, I basically practiced what I preached. So I had to build relationships, and building relationships, I built a community, showcased that I'm a leader in my field, added testimonials and reviews and what people thought about me online. And then when the time was right, people slid into my DMs and wanted to inquire about my services. So I teach this stuff. I also preach this stuff and practiced it as well. And so I just showcased a little bit about that. So if you wanted to know more about that presentation, you can find it on bit.ly. So bit.ly / capital K for Kickstart, and then FOMO, FOMO. I also did the talk based on a talk that I delivered earlier this year, which was the ABCs of FOMO. And And the ABCs of FOMO is authentic authority, behind the scenes, and create content for the lurkers. And Tim was just clarifying that DMs is not for Doc Martens, but it's actually for direct messages. We had a great conversation about that last week, actually. ABCs of FOMO. So, authentic authority. I know a lot of people talk about how you should be authentic. And, if you have to say that you have to be authentic, then, it's a little bit icky, isn't it? But I do know that I've met some of the most inauthentic people in person who espouse authenticity online. And it reminds me that when I interviewed Roger Edwards and Pascal Fintoni a couple of episodes ago, when we talked about how to use film marketing to generate FOMO, Roger said he also hated that word authenticity as well, because it's almost like saying, how can you be a human online? Well, you just be a human. You be a kind human. How you want to be treated is how you put yourself out there, which is kind of true. But sometimes I feel that maybe people do need to state and believe that they have to be authentic online in order to prove that they are. But then remember that they also had to, whatever they put online, they had to be the same in person as well. So we talked a little bit about that, showcasing your authority. And then we also talked about BTS. No, I don't mean that K-pop global sensation. Never tire of cracking that joke. I mean behind the scenes. And it's really important too, no matter what field you are in, to show a little bit of yourself. And so I actually went on Instagram live at 3 o'clock earlier today, because at the moment I'm broadcasting to LinkedIn, to Facebook, to Twitter, and YouTube, but not LinkedIn. So I go live at 3 o'clock and I give a little bit of an insight into what I'm going to be talking about today here for you right now. And in that live, I mentioned that on my Instagram and also on my Facebook, I actually show a little bit of behind the scenes. I actually explain each and every one of these posters and their significance in my FOMO room, and why it is particularly helpful for me to help help me and help my clients with their work. It helps people to get to know who you are as a person. If people resonate with some things, I mean, I bonded amazingly with an incredible lady last week when I created FOMO in Utrecht in the Netherlands. And we bonded over, I can't point, this film, Everything Everywhere All at Once. She's also Asian, and we bonded over it because of the struggles that we had, generational trauma, they call it, with how our parents feel we ought to be compared to how we want to be. And it talked to the film talked to me in a lot more ways, in a business sense as well as an entertaining film as well. So you never know whether any of these things can resonate and can really help you bond with people. But you can also show behind the scenes of the work that you do as well. So this is me, with a little screenshot of when I do FOMO for online conferences. That's me on the left-hand side with my phone, my headset, my computer, and I wrote an article about it on LinkedIn as well. And on the right-hand side, there's a little picture of me. In person on International Women's Day, actually, this year, recording some fabulous speakers there, and it was beautifully captured by a barrel of photos there. So that's behind the scenes. But B also means build momentum, or should I say fomentum? And this is where I was explaining that, you can create an event out of anything. And by building that momentum, it really helps people to get to understand what you're doing, what you're about to do, what you're doing at the event, at the thing that you're doing. And then if people have missed it, what have they missed? So by building that and creating more content to show before, during and after is really important. So I call this pre FOMO, live FOMO, and post FOMO. Now, I've been doing this for a long time. So I lived in Australia for 6 years. And one of the most incredible things that I did that I'm really, really proud of is I modeled for Australia's number one body artist. Helen was just saying, love fomentum. She's just dashing out, but she can't wait to catch up later. Oh, see you later, Helen. Bye. So I was just explaining that one of the proudest things that I did in Australia was that I was a body model. So for Australia's number one body painter. Now, Anki Catesby, she created FOMO because she put up a picture on Facebook and it was of a woman who had a Victorian boot painted on the front of her torso, and it was so stunning. Now, I couldn't find a picture of that online, so I showed one of her other pictures, which I'm about to show you. Am I giving you FOMO yet? And this beautiful picture led me to go onto Facebook and say to Anki, do you do requests? Because my head was spinning. I was thinking, I ran a tea business at the time. So my first name is May King, and I ran a business called Making Tea. Making tea, get it? And so she said, actually, I was thinking about you. I was thinking I'd like to draw a teapot on you. Now, at the time, I was going through a horrible personal setback and I'd lost a lot of weight. So I looked quite magnificent at that time because I couldn't afford to eat. I was down to one meal a day, wondering where my next meal was coming from, wondering whether I could pay the rent. But hey, I look great. And I think you'll agree that I look great in this as well. So I'm going to show you. Are you ready? Have I given you FOMO yet? So on the left-hand side, this is pre-FOMO. So this is where Anki gave me FOMO, and I saw this fabulous picture. As I say, I couldn't get the original one, but this one is just as stunning. You know, you can see the model's back and the base of her spine and her cheeky bottom as well. It's been beautifully painted into a fabulous double base. So when I put, when I put a request in, Anki said, yes, I would love to paint a teapot on you. And so that's what she did. Now, the most amazing thing about this FOMO campaign is on the right-hand side. This is before Instagram was even invented. We were on Facebook and Twitter at the time. We got so many likes, so many comments, lots of shares. It reached 100,000 people on Twitter. And more importantly for Anki, within 20 minutes of her putting the paintbrush down, we were sharing a cup of tea together. She actually had a phone call requesting for another customized piece. And also I managed to sell a bit of tea as well, which was incredible. And Tim was saying 1 tea a day. I'm not sure actually. I'll probably have a few more than that. Now, if you wanted to, in the name of art, there is a time lapse of. I do actually wear a pair of nude knickers, so don't worry. I'm not completely nude. And there's this fabulous piece where Anki, there's a time lapse of the way that this fabulous teapot was painted on me. It took 4 hours. 4 hours. It was incredible. But one of my proudest pieces. But as I say, all in the name of FOMO, all in the name of art and tea. It helped to sell product, and Anki got a request as well. So that's BTS. Oh, we've got a lovely viewer here, Triona. She says she's got here a bit late, but loving this, especially the teapot story. Thanks, Triona. It's lovely to hear from you. You can always catch the replay if you want to. Now, C is for create content for your lurkers. And as you can see, I'm peering behind a wall there because we are all lurkers, aren't we? I missed a comment there. Tim was saying that he liked fomentum, as in momentum, but FOMO. So, creating content for your like is really, really important. Don't worry about how many fans you have. Don't worry about how many followers you have, how many connections. all that doesn't matter because people will be watching your content if it's interesting, if they are really engaged with what you do. So, when I turn in live, on Instagram or on LinkedIn as I am now, or YouTube or any of the other platforms, if I don't get any people tuning in live, it doesn't matter because people will watch the replays. Now, I have my fabulous friend Tim Lewis, who always shows up when he can. He's a wonderful friend of mine. But there are times when he doesn't show up, but it doesn't matter because I'm confident in my content. And I know that it will reach out and help the right people. And when the time is right, people will slide into your DMs, your direct messages, not your Doc Martens. So this is how Comms Creatives create content for the lurkers. So, as I mentioned, this week I've been delivering training for the Comms Creatives Academy, and they create some incredible stuff. I mean, it's bright, it's vibrant. I mean, you just want to eat that tweet, don't you? Isn't it wonderful? So, I subscribe to the big yellow newsletter, and it's a great read. Helen and her team, they always have a look on social media, digital marketing, see what is great for inspiration for her Comms Creatives Academy, and she talks about it. And she generates FOMO. She creates content for the lurkers because you can see, as an example of her tweet there, which she puts on LinkedIn as well, this week issue features our content of the week, some awesome courses, and a new cartoon. Now, Helen is a wonderful, wonderful illustrator. I do need to show you this because I think it's fabulous. So she's got Comms Creatives mug, and she got this fabulous doodle which she illustrated. Now, it is a guy who is a manager who's talking to the social media manager. He's got a document hold in his hand, holds it over to the social media manager and says, "I need you to make this go viral for me, Susan." Ah. So Susan eye rolls, says, "What is it?" And the manager says, "My strategic framework for engaging stakeholders." Now, all you social media managers and comms managers out there, you know that manager, don't you? I want you to make this thing go viral. Is amazing, isn't she? And when you become part of the academy, I mean, you just get these wonderful, wonderful bits and pieces. I've got a pen, a couple of notebooks, a couple of postcards, a little squidgy ball to get our creative juices flowing, a couple of badges as well, which I've pinned onto my FOMO jacket. She's just a wonderfully creative person and is encouraging comms up and down the world, up and down the country, and around the world, to be more creative in the way they communicate, and when they're creating social media content. Um, and in that little book of gorgeousness, not only did we get a squishy ball, a couple of badges, I also got a cup of tea from Yorkshire Tea, no less, and a cup of coffee as well. So there's all sorts of things there that she creates FOMO for. Um, and Mark, he says, I'm inventing new. I keep inventing new words. I do, don't I? Fomentum, not momentum, but fomentum. And it's lovely to see Natasha as well. How are you, my lovely? She is an incredible, incredible mentor, trainer, strategist, Anastasia or Natasha. Go and reach out to her. She is an Instagram expert. She's helped me to rebuild my Instagram once my account got hacked, and she's just incredible. Now we've got Tim saying, if someone asks you to make something go viral, it's pretty clear they don't know social media. Absolutely right, Tim. Absolutely right. And so that's why it's important for comms people, social media managers to join something like the Comms Creative Academy. I'm not paid to say that, by the way, but you will be given the right tools, the right information. She draws in experts into the academy to talk about their area of expertise. So, as I say, in my instance, it was about FOMO. So that's how Helen creates content for the lurkers. How do I create content for the lurkers? Um, Whoops, let me pop that back up. I get so excited about creating content for the lurkers in that I spell it wrong. Lurkerers. So, as I mentioned, the fabulous Roger and Pascal Fintoni, I interviewed them a couple of episodes ago, and they always come up with some incredible content. And I just wanted to just clip a little bit of it, a little bit of the video, just to tease, just to generate that buzz and excitement and invite people to watch a full episode. So that's how I create content for my lurkers, by teasing them, by giving them little bits and pieces. Now, Amanda Webb, she has an incredible show on a Friday, 9:30 Ireland and UK time, and it is called the Digital Coffee Show with Amanda Webb. And on YouTube, if you were to search for Amanda Webb, that's what you'll see in the top right hand corner. There's a lovely picture there. Now, she is a massive fan of creating content for the lurkers, because she always says that while she may not get many people tuning in live, I mean, she generally does actually. She's been doing it for 7, 8 years, and maybe a bit longer actually. And she gets about 7 or 8 people tuning in live, maybe more. There may be people who don't say hello when she invites them, so a few lurkers there. Now, and a lot of her clients will come back to her, and she will always ask, because she is an ROI specialist. She loves her analysis. She will always ask, where did you find me? And the majority of the time, people will say, "Oh, it was from from your digital coffee show that she broadcast live on YouTube, on LinkedIn, on Facebook, but then she has someone to chop it up and then redistribute that content, those little sneaky clips, repurposing her content." So that's how she creates content for the lurkers. Now, Amanda and I, we also have a show after her digital coffee show called The Extra Shot. So it's kind of like the Great British Bake Off, which is on next week, which Steve and I are a bit excited about. He's got me into it. I never watched it before I met him. And Yeah, so they have the Great British Bake Off, then they always have the extra slice. So Amanda and I are the extra slice to her digital coffee. And we also repurpose our content as well and create content for the lurkers. So we go live on LinkedIn at 10:30, and we discuss one of the digital coffee pieces, the digital news that has interested us most. And we sometimes agree, we sometimes disagree. We invite people to share their comments. Tim often shares his comments and he joins in. And then we actually put that LinkedIn audio into a podcast, which is now available wherever you listen to your podcast. So that's the content piece, creating content for the lurkers on the right hand side. We also do a few bonus episodes as well, and we did in episode 6. We talked about creating content for the lurkers, and Amanda, she talked a lot about how she creates content for her lurkers, and we had a great discussion of that over a pint of beer in Manchester. Actually, it was a fabulous day that day. So let's go back to the back to the FOMO, and this is probably best described by this next video, if I can find it. Back to the FOMO. Can you see one of my favorite films? See, I'm no good at pointing. There you go. Back to the Future. Not Back to the Future, but Back to the FOMO. So, in this week's episode, I talked about the amazing Comms Creatives. I talked about how I delivered a training program for them. I've been delivering training since 1998, but specifically on social media and FOMO since 2012. And so I love training. I love delivering training programs. It's something that I always love doing, as well as creating FOMO as well. So I'm ever so chuffed that Helen asked me to create a customized training program for her audience, which I did. Gave a little insight just now about what we talked about. So the 5 steps to FOMO, which spells the word word brand. I also talked about the ABCs of FOMO as well. And then we also talked a lot more about her audience and answered a lot of questions. Had some great discussions with her audience. So that's basically what we talked about. So the next segment is shameless plug alert. Now, this is where I invite you all, if you would like to, although there is no obligation, everyone who was posted in today commented, Triona, Mark, Natasha, Tim. I know Helen's away at the moment, but if there's anyone else, if you want to add a comment, let me know what you do, and I'll give you a bit of a shout out. So, whilst I'm waiting for everyone to tap, tap, tap on their computers, I'm going to give myself a shameless plug alert. And as I said, I love to deliver training. So, if you have an organization or you have a membership, just like Helen, and you would like me to create a customized training for you guys, I would absolutely love it. So, in the top left hand corner, is the title of the one that I created for Helen. But I always customize it to your organization. No presentation is the same. I did it for on how to use FOMO to build your community and to network and collaborate for an organization. Glide did it for the public sector digital marketing academy, trust marketing on Twitter specifically. And there's a few logos on the right there. The Port of Tyne, AO, Oh, let's go. I delivered training for them as well. Young leaders in cricket. I've been creating FOMO, delivering training about FOMO for the last 2 years with them. And I love doing it and I continue to do that. I've trained over, I think it's about 1,500 young people who are fundraising for their local cricket club. It's amazing. Latte and Live is just one of the communities that I've delivered training for, and my network for women, of whom I am a director for as well. So that's my little shameless plug alert. And another shameless plug alert is next week. I'm not going to be here next week because I'm creating FOMO for this fabulous lady, the amazing Danny Wallace, also known as the Queen Bee. And she's got a conference that's being held at Old Trafford at Manchester United Football Club, which is amazing. 2-day event, loads of speakers, some of them first timers, but she teaches them. She goes through a really rigorous training program on how you can be an accomplished public speaker. And you don't know the difference between the seasoned speakers and the people who've gone through her training program. It's absolutely amazing. Now, I've been hired to create FOMO for her next week. So I'm going to be doing Instagram stories, capturing those moments, getting those quotes, interviewing speakers, attendees, sponsors. It's going to be a whole heap of fun. And I actually shared some of the interviews that I did over on my TikTok. And this is one of the fabulous speakers, Matthew Elwell, who is an author and incredible speaker about sales. And he's also got a book as well, which I don't have with me, unfortunately. But he is an amazing guy to connect with. Now we've got a few people who have taken up on my offer to share who they are and what they do. So we've got the fabulous Tim. Now Tim is a man of many talents. Many talents. He has a book chat live show. It's started a new season Tuesday nights at UK time at 8 p.m. Now the book chat live show appears live on Amazon, and he talks to people about their favorite books. And so I was in season 2 or season 1, and talked about some of my books. Some of them that are behind my Spinal Tap rock stars there, and he's got incredible loads of different guests that he talks to. And Tim is also an incredible video creator. Now, my end credits, which you'll see at the end of this show, Tim created that, and it is amazing. Now we've got the fabulous Triona, who says that she's got to go and feed a hungry child and catch up on the replay later. Great live, thank you. Oh, thanks, Triona. And next time you tune in live, do let me know what it is you do so that I can give you a bit of a plug, give you a bit of publicity as well. But go feed that hungry child. And Mark, my brother, Mark Clark, he is owner of Velatool, which is an e-commerce business providing and creating tools and accessories for cyclists to enhance the cycling experience. Now, do go and follow Mark on Instagram. He is Velatool underscore 1970. He did an incredible thing last week, actually. I managed to catch up with him in Sheffield, where a friend was actually doing a charity bike ride from London to Cardiff, and then from Cardiff to Sheffield from Bakewell. And it was for a chap who unfortunately had a stroke, and he has had to have some major surgery done, I think. So they're fundraising for this young man. And Mark, my brother, decided to accompany this guy and his friend, Dave and his friend, who did the London to Cardiff, Cardiff to Sheffield. And Mark joined him at Bakewell, which was the last 20 miles. And so I caught up with him in Sheffield and interviewed him there. And the interview can be seen on Instagram, and you can still donate as well if you so wish. So that's the fabulous Mark. And I've given her a big shout out to Helen Reynolds already. As I say, she is home of the Comms Creatives Academy. And she creates incredible training programs and invites resident experts to talk about their field of expertise to help create comms communications become less boring and more creative as well. And I also mentioned about Natasha. Do go and reach out to Natasha if you want your Instagram to, if you want her to have an overhaul, then do give her a shout as well. So next week I won't be here, as I mentioned, because I'll be creating FOMO for Danny Wallace. But the following week, that's October the 5th, I'm going to be creating FOMO. I'm going to be on the FOMO Creator Show with this fabulous lady, the amazing Rachel Spencer. I nearly said Stevens then. Rachel Stevens. Where was she from? Was this S Club 7? Now, Rachel has actually been on my show before. She was on episode 5, How to Create FOMO for Your Pet Business. And it was an incredible talk. It's actually one of my most viewed videos to date. There are a lot of pet businesses out there who want to know how they can generate a bit more buzz, a bit more excitement onto the socials. And so we talked a little bit about that. I have also delivered a training program for her membership of pet business owners on how to generate FOMO. And I know that, I've received some great feedback from people from that training as well. Now, she's got a new business, the fabulous Rachel. She's actually, she is actually has a new bricks and mortar, and it's actually going to be, it is a bed and breakfast for pet businesses, pet owners. So if you wanted to go on holiday, you want to take your dogs with you, you can go to Sunnyside Cottage. So we're going to be talking about how she used a lot of the strategies that I taught in the program to generate that FOMO, and how she's managed to get people to book on to her Sunnyside Cottage. Isn't that amazing? Isn't that incredible? So, I am so excited for this, and that's going to be October the 5th. So, as I say, I won't be here next week because I'll be creating FOMO, but do catch me on Instagram on FOMO Creator. I might be able to sneak a few Instagram stories in there, but definitely catch up with I Am the Queen Bee Danny, and you'll be able to see her bee inspired interviews there. This has been the FOMO Creator Show. I am your host, Making Sang First Name Making. And if I don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Now, where's the end credits? Ah, there we are. This is the video that Tim Lewis created.